started after it goes.
I think we were supposed to have John.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, I think. But we'll,
Okay, Chairman, you could start.
okay, this is the Zoning Board of Appeals for January 13th, 2021. I just want to, we've got a short agenda, but I want to hold on for just a couple of minutes. We've got some board members that we're still expecting, so why don't we just hold on for maybe 2 minutes or so until we, oh, here we go. We've got John. Why don't we start to look at the minutes? Have you guys done any reviewing in advance? Are you on yet, John?
I'm on. I was using the link in the agenda. That didn't work out well. I apologize for being late.
Oh, that's how I got in. Dumb luck.
I don't know. Anyway, glad it worked out.
Good. Dan, the one change I have is on the last page and the last paragraph. It says Chairman Hunter. That's actually me. I think planning board notes must have been in process that day as well. So that was the only thing that I caught.
I was good.
You're good?
I'm okay too.
Me too.
Okay. I move that we accept the minutes, the draft minutes of December 9th with one correction. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Jennifer, do we have either of the applicants?
We do have the owner of 21 Riverside, but we don't have the architect, Steve Seacon.
Right.
But we do have the owner of 2 Storm Street.
Should we go to Storm Street? Guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fine.
Yeah, why don't we do Storm Street first?
Oh, I didn't see him pop up. Here we go. Ismet, can you hear us? Ismet, can you hear us?
Ismet, your mic is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute him,
Okay.
but he's got to do
Hello?
it on his. Yep.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk.
Okay, I guess you were supposed to be here last time and didn't make it.
Yes, I didn't make it. My internet had a problem that time. I couldn't join the meeting. I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
Okay, can you, this is, you're asking for a variance on fencing that was already put up illegally. Can you tell us the story and why this happened and why you need it? Or why you think you need it?
Yes, I put a protection fence. Now it's last year. Since it was, as we all know, it was a year of coronavirus. The kids were home. They basically had nowhere to go but in my backyard. So all basketball courts and all sports activities were closed. And other than walking around with a mask, or sometimes visiting my sister. We didn't have nowhere to go. So it came as an idea that maybe building that fence would help them to entertain a little more on their free time. So because the main thing was, since they want to play both basketball and soccer, on one hand, I didn't want their safety to be in danger. I didn't want them to go, because before building that protection fence, they were still playing, but I saw them a couple of times going on Ashford, since my house is next to Ashford Avenue. I saw them going on the street and in between the cars, which was very dangerous. And I thought that fence would prevent that dangerous move. This is for the south side, because the fence had two sections. For the north side, I have a multifamily neighbor, and the ball was going on their side. They had their barbecue set in there, and they have a table. And that's where they usually sit, right next to the fence, dividing, I mean, the fence between my house and their house. So I didn't want to bother them, and I thought I have to build the fence on that side too. At the beginning, and until the inspector came, actually the inspector sent me a letter first. I had no idea that there was this restriction about the height of that type of fence. That's why I built it in the beginning. So there is another side, which is the church side. The church has a background. The kids, there are children that play in there, but since they never interfered with playing with my kids, their time was totally different from the time when my kids play. At that time, I didn't think to build the fence, the protection on that side. Since they play in the morning during the weekdays, and my kids play in the afternoon and on the weekend, I never have seen an interference or.
Okay, well, the problem is that, you should have checked this out with the village, really, for any kind of building, whether it's outdoors or indoors, because permits or variances or whatever are needed when you build in the village. And unfortunately, this is what you've built is well in excess of what is allowed. And at least my perception of the board is that this is something that we can't issue a variance for.
Mr. Dega,
Yes.
with, part of the problem that Chairman Hoffman was referring to is, if we give you this variance, it's not just for the duration of the pandemic. So if by this summer, people have vaccinations and there's no need for being as protective of your children as you were last fall, you would still be able to maintain the fence, maintain it forever and ever and ever. The variance is for all time. If you sell the house, the variance is still there. And the fence itself is in a very prominent location in the village, right near the entrance to the village, right near a prominent community facility. So it is not in keeping with the zoning code, and it's not in keeping with the feel of the area. And that's why the sense of the board has been to not grant a variance for this issue.
Yeah, unfortunately, the law in this is kind of unforgiving, if you will. We can't issue temporary variances.
Right.
You know, that's something that we explored with the with council, you know, in advance of this meeting, and you know, the law is not vague, so we're really not in a position to grant this, even though it's something that would make your life and your kid's life a bit easier. You know, but in view of the safety concerns, I guess I would say bring the basketball inside, you know, and take it away from your kids, and, you know, have them play soccer or something where it's a wiffle ball, you know, or something where it's more contained, and won't bring Ashford Avenue into play. And in the meantime, I think, you know, you can talk with the building department, but I think this has to come down as soon as is expeditiously possible. Anyone else like to speak? Jennifer, is there anyone from the community?
No, there's no one else here.
No one else here.
I would only add also the issue of a precedent, just being able, you know, once we approve this, then it's potentially other people saying, well, I need a big fence and I need a 15-foot fence or a 12-foot fence for sports or what have you. So I would support Chairman Hoffman and Mr. Gombos on this.
I agree as well.
So I move to deny this application.
Second,
Do I have a second?
yes, I'll second it.
Seconded by Bruce. All in favor? And that's unanimous. I'm sorry, Ismet. It's you know, one of the problems we have with our you know, with zoning is sometimes we're offered flexibility and we can mediate things, and sometimes we can't. And this is clearly a situation where we don't have any flexibility to give you some temporary relief. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Even here, Jen?
I just put Amy Jo Neal on, who's the owner. I still don't see Steve Seacon.
Okay.
Hi, oh, let me. Yeah, I have heard from him. I texted him. He's trying to juggle 2 different Zoom meetings, I guess so. But I did text him about 3 minutes ago and said we're up soon, so hopefully he'll be on, but I haven't.
I'm still not sure we can proceed, you know, in that we'd like to hear from the planning board first. I guess, Dan, at this point, could you talk a little bit about the wall again and why that does not need a variance? Because should it, you know, that would need to be noticed.
Right. The wall, it doesn't need a variance because it's just a retaining wall. It's not like in our code, it says fences and walls over 6 feet in the front, over 4 feet would need a variance in the front yard. But this isn't like a fence, a divider. It's needed. It's retaining soil. So it
is over 4 feet though, is it not?
It is. But it doesn't say in our code, it's like fences and walls for division of the property. This isn't. This is retaining and it
Right.
needs it. There's a lot of houses that have retaining walls over 4 foot in the front yard because it's retaining the soil to their property.
Right.
So
Is all the height being used for retention?
Yes. It
Yeah,
just
so that
comes up,
parking spot,
correct, for the parking spot. So after we looked at it, I spoke to Mr. Manley about it, and the 4 foot height in the front yard is for a fence or a wall for a division of the property. Or if you put a 2 foot wall, you could put a 2 foot fence on top, so the height stays at the 4 foot in the front yard.
now, they would need a fence for safety
Yes,
on top of
yes,
that.
yes, correct. And that would only be 4 foot, so they wouldn't need a variance as long as it's not chain link or anything.
So Dan, about 2 months ago, we had an issue in one of the hilltop streets where there was a large retaining wall and they were building on the property, and it cast a real shadow on a narrow street. And we talked about stepping it back, even though it wasn't a dividing wall, it was really a retaining wall for soil. But we did make them get a variance on that issue. How does this differ from that?
That was because they were doing they were doing that, and then I believe that one they were putting the 6 foot fence on top of,
I think it was just a 6 foot
or,
wall, and it was done to hold back the soil. It was a literal retaining wall.
right, I do remember that. I'm not sure, I didn't write that denial. But I'm not sure.
No, they actually, there was no denial there.
Right.
They went a different route. They went two walls, two shorter walls, rather
Exactly.
than the one taller wall. And we actually walked by there today, and they're in the process now.
Right,
And we asked them to do that because of the effect that the large wall had on light and air in the street. I haven't seen this because that was something that existed already, basically, and we could visualize it. I don't have a sense, but I do know we're talking about a congested area. Would the wall create any light and air issues on that surrounding street if it were to
no,
No.
no, the wall's pretty much under the street, it's below the street level.
Okay.
You're not looking at the wall.
It starts at the level of the driveway, Bruce, and goes down to the sunken backyard.
Correct,
So it's not, it's visible to the Chestnut Street people when the trees have no leaves, but
Yes.
probably not especially.
It's kind of an invert.
Yes, yes.
exactly.
I was able to reach Steve. He's getting on right now.
Okay, thank you, Amy Jo.
Apologize for the,
Not a problem at all. I see his picture.
Yeah.
Steve, can you hear us?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can.
Okay, sorry about that. I had
Not a
a,
problem, Steve.
it was a family emergency that we're currently dealing with. So just to kind of circle back, I don't know, Amy Jo, if you kind of recounted our planning.
no, we were
Okay.
sort of waiting for you. We were just talking about the retaining wall a little bit.
Okay. So in short, Han Engineering, gave us some comments, all of them fairly minor and benign. The only thing of significance was the potential additional variance that was required for the front wall that was a retaining wall. And fortunately, Mr. Manley was on the call and clarified that we did not need an additional variance. So the zoning board was comfortable putting everything to a public hearing. And, we're, fairly confident that, we've addressed all of Han Engineering's comments, in a satisfactory manner. And, based on our last conversation, I think that we're addressed your concerns, by increasing, the rear setback and reconfiguring the deck. And, be happy to entertain any other questions or comments.
At least as far as I'm concerned, I think I'm good. I think it's a good application. We would like to hear planning board approvals before we make our final approval in case they have small issues at the at their final meeting that need to be adjusted. And that way we can just close things up when we meet next time.
That makes sense.
Guys, are there any questions you have with regard to the project? Any areas of discomfort that you'd like to discuss further?
I was okay.
Not for me.
Bruce, you good?
No, my question, you and Dan helped me work through that. I'm fine.
Okay. So we will carry this application over till next time, and we wish you good luck with the planning board, and
Okay.
hope to see you again once you've got final approvals from them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for your feedback and guidance
Okay.
Okay.
You're certainly welcome.
and your patience.
I move to close the meeting.
I
Thank you.
second.
All in favor? Yep. Thank you very much. That's unanimous. See you guys next time, and thank you for the input, Dan. Appreciate it.
Have a good night. Stay safe.
And thank you, Jennifer.
No problem.